Hello and welcome back to our third episode in this series of my playthrough session of Trajan. As you can see, we are in the second quarter already, and blue player will go first in this quarter because he's only the vice consul in this quarter. And I already have to make one little correction. I think I mentioned it in the last episode that I forgot to discard a card from the blue player's hand, basically the commodity card. So basically right now we have drawn these two cards, so basically a diamond and a fish symbol, and I think we should be now allowed to, we have to discard one. So we draw two, and the rule says if you draw two you have to draw these two and discard any other card from your hand. As we are aware that the red player will be able to make profit out of the diamonds, I think we will then discard the fish card here because he right now has no real use for it. So I will place it on one of the discard piles, and we will put the other card back to his hand. And I think with that we can get started with the first turn of the blue player in the second quarter. I think the blue player will go for another Trajan action, and I think we play it then like this, so 1 and 2. So this ends our move on a Trajan action. And I think as he still want to go for this military victory, I think he will then really go for another of this military Trajan tile. We put that on the according space here. We'll move the Trajan arc one step ahead. And of course we need to move the time marker 2 spaces ahead. And this more or less is the turn, or the first turn of the blue player. And let's see what the red player can do about that. As the red player also does not have any Trajan tile on his player board here, I think he will also go for a Trajan action. So this be 1 and 2. And I think he will really go for this commodity card Trajan tile. I think this might be important for him. So let's place that on the appropriate spot here. And let's move the time marker another 2 spaces ahead. And this also concludes the turn of the red player. I think we really need to bring some movement back into the game, so I think we really need to dissolve this big hive of tiles here. So let's take those away. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Hopefully I didn't do that right. So these were 6 actions, and we would land on a on the construction action, and this would allow us to place one of this worker to the construction or to the worker camp here, and this could then be put into the construction action in a later turn. These were 6 action stones we moved, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so we would be allowed, or we have to flip the first counter here. This is a bread demand, as you see there, so that's pretty fine for both players. They have the appropriate Trajan tile in there on their player board, so I think this is fine. And let's over to the red player. I think the red player will go for also for a construction action. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This would allow us to place a worker. I think we go here for this stairs, which we will put on our player board. So put it here. This will allow us for a forum action, and I think this time I will go for this extra action tile. So this one here, we place it also on our player board. Let me show that to you. This would be here. So the next time we are doing a forum action, we would allow to do that twice, but of course not in this round. And yeah, there's only one more thing to do, and of course this would be to move the time marker 5 more spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Brilliant. So let's get back to the blue player. Of course, there's one more thing I forgot. For this construction tile, the red player gains 4 victory points. Let me show that to you. So, and that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now really it's the turn of the blue player. So the blue player will go definitely for a military action. I'm not so sure. And I think that it's still good to go. So we will go for this military action here. So that's only 1. And this allows us to place another soldier to the province of this of the leader, and this would give us 6 victory points. So we can do that right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And yeah, let's just move the time track and give it over to the red player. This was a fast move, so it's only 1. And let's have a look what the red player will do. Okay, so the red player will go for a forum action, and this will be 1, 2, and 3. And I think he will use his extra action token here, so he has now 2 forum actions. For once, I think he will go for a this religion tile. And for the second, I think he would go for an extra action of the seaport action. So this will allow him then later on to have 2 seaport action when doing so. So let's just put these on the player board. So we put the seaport action here and put the religion token over there. And let's move the time marker 1, 2, 3 spaces ahead. For the blue player, it's also very important to go for a forum action. So it will be 1, 2, and 3. And I think he will also go for the religion symbol. Let's place that on his player board, and let's move the time track 1, 2, 3 spaces ahead, and let's flip another demand token. Oh, that's another bread. Oh, who would think about that? Yeah, let's see what they can do about that. There's only 1 bread token in the forum, and yeah, I think this might be a tough call in this quarter. And as I just noticed, of course, one more time, I forgot the Trajan tile for the red player, so let's do that. So he's allowed to draw 2 additional cards from the commodity draw pile. So that is a fur and another jewelry, which is good. And of course, he will get 3 victory points. Quickly do that. 1, 2, and 3. And now let's head over to the red player again to see what he can do during this turn. So I think we should go for the second demand here, and this says, okay, let's head over to another forum action, which allows us to get this bread here, which we will place on the player board. And let's just move the time track 1 more space ahead. Just trust me. And yeah, let's give it back to the blue player. I think it's pretty urgent. We do a military action for the blue player, which means we can put the leader here, and we would be allowed to gain this bread resource forum tile, which we can place, of course, on our player board. And yeah, let's move the time marker 1 more time. I think this time I show you, so hopefully, so you don't have to trust me. I show you. And yeah, let's give it back to the red player. So red still cannot make it to the seaport action, which is a pity. So let's go for the military action. 1, 2, and 3. This will allow us to place the leader onto Noricum here, and we would be able to gain this forum tile here, the games tile, which might come handy in a later stage of the game. So we are pretty good equipped in respect to demand tokens here. And I think these were 3 actions. So let's move the time marker accordingly. 1, 2, and 3. And it's again the blue player's turn. So let's see. We take this mold here. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This will lead us to a construction action. With this we will be placing this worker here. Remember, this needs to go adjacent to an existing worker, so we gain 2 victory points. 1 and 2. We place the stairs on the appropriate section of our player board. This is the first stair, so we would be allowed to do an additional forum action. And with this we will take also a games token, which we will place onto our player board, which leaves us also in a pretty good position in respect to the demand phase at the end of this quarter. Let's move the time marker 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and let's flip the last demand token, and this is a game demand from people. So I think neither of these players should have a problem to fulfilling these demand. So I think they can now really concentrate on gaining some more additional bonus or victory points. So this will be a good move for the red player, I think. So take this one, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This will bring us to a seaport action, and remember he has this double action token which he will play, so we would be allowed to do 2 seaport actions. For once I think he will play 2 cards, and I think he will go for the first here because he's having that special victory card here. Let me show that to you. So here are the first, and we place them here, and also the jewelry. So, and as you can see, he has pretty good amount of commodity cards already lying there. Of course, he would now be allowed to draw an additional 2 cards because he laid them out. And wow, this also gives him 2 additional furs. And remember, he still has his second action because of his token, so he will play these 2 furs also in front of him. Again, he would be allowed to draw 2 additional commodity cards, and these is I think oil and the diamonds, which might really come in handy for the next basically for the next turn. These were also 5 action stones, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And I think we are coming really close to the end of this quarter. This is tough. I think for once he will go here to have a military action. And this is really tough. I think he will just place one of his meeples or workers into his military camp. So let's just put that here, and this time I won't forget. So actually he can claim this Trajan tile, which will bring him 2 victory points. So that's 1 and 2. And additionally he would be allowed, let me just show that to you here, to place 2 more of his workers to the military camp. Not so sure if that is so important. I have to check that, but I think it's better than nothing. And this was only 1 stone, so let's move the time marker only 1 space ahead, and now it's back to the red player. The red player really has a lot of soldiers in the military camp, so I think he will also go for a military action. So 1, 2. This will allow him to place this soldier to Noricum. It's Noricum, yeah. And of course he would gain 5 victory points. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And of course the time check moves 2 spaces ahead, and we're really coming closer to the end of this quarter. I think we keep it simple. We really go ahead and do our military actions. So that's 1, 2 and 3. With this we can place another soldier from his camp to Britannia, which will allow him directly for 10 victory points, which is absolutely great. So that's from 41 to 51. Good catch. And of course we have to move the time track, so 1, 2 and 3, and we ended this quarter, and let's go and resolve the quarter end. As during last quarters, we have to resolve the demands first, so that's 1 bread, another bread, and this games token here. So 1 bread is fine, the second bread we have to pay with this one here, which is also okay, and this games token we can pay with this token here. So no loss of points for the blue player here. Let's see what the red player has to offer, and that's basically the same: breads, and the games. So 1 bread is here, this bread needs to be paid, the games needs to be paid as well, so he also doesn't suffer any points loss, and we can get rid of the demand tokens here. So let's go over to the Senate. During this quarter, none of these players more or less bought any votes from the Senate here. But as I mentioned earlier, or in my last video, not so sure, in a case of a tie, the player on top resolves the tie, and this would be the red players, or both have 0 players, but still the red player would be consul again. And let's see what tokens he is going to go for, and I think in this case that's not so easy. I think we will go for the fish bonus tile here, put that on the player board, but also the blue player gains the silver bonus tile here, which gives him at least some points for fruit or for this oil, but no, doesn't have any. Maybe we should concentrate a little bit more on seaport action during the next quarter. So in this case the consul, I think it stays the same, so the player with the most votes stays the starting player, like the blue player, and red stays on top of that. So this has been resolved already. Now let's clean up the forum tiles. First we get rid of the bonus action tile. So this is a Senate action, this is a forum action, this is a military action. Let's also get rid of the forum tiles here, and let's restock those. So this is bread, which could come in handy for the blue player, religion, some votes for the Senate, and let's have draw more, 2, and a commodity card. Oh, this might be cool for the red player as well. Let's have a look at the provinces. So apparently we cannot restock any of the forum tiles over there, because all the provinces that don't have a forum tile have legionnaires on them. So there's no change here. We also haven't shipped any goods, so there's no need to flip this tile back to the colored side of the ship. And I think there's only one more thing to do, and I think this would be to move this quarter tile to the 3rd quarter now. And I think this concludes the 2nd quarter of this game. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully I sped up a little bit, because I don't need to explain too many of the rules. I think once you get into that, it's pretty simple. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you in the next episode and the 3rd quarter of Trajan. Bye bye.